Welcome to This Week in Hell. I'm Professor Bond Ruggles, owner of Hottest Hell Tours. This week on This Week in Hell, we're going to be discussing a very sensitive topic. As some of you might already know, today is the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina changed the city of New Orleans in more ways than just visually. So what was it like being in the city for Hurricane Katrina? It was terrifying is the short answer. I was here and I went to a football game, a preseason game between the New Orleans Saints and the Baltimore Ravens, Friday night in the Superdome. And at that time, we were still bracing for the return of Katrina to the Panhandle area of Florida. New Orleans was not very worried about what Katrina meant for it. Like most people who go out after a sports game, I didn't get home till about 4 o'clock in the morning. Once again, we were still bracing for the return of the storm Katrina to the Panhandle of Florida. I woke up a mere 6 hours later, 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, and we were under a mandatory evacuation. Like many people at that time, I did not have a car. You didn't need one. We had 24-hour public transportation that would get you to almost everywhere in the city, but most definitely to all the important areas of the city. There really wasn't a need for a car. So hopping in a car and getting out of town was not something that I could do. I happened to have a friend who was in the meteorology department at a university along the East Coast. When he got the news that New Orleans was going to be directly hit with Hurricane Katrina, he called me, begging me to get out. This went back and forth for several hours. He kept telling me to try. When I couldn't and it became too late to get out, he said, I want to tell you what it's going to be like. It's going to be like a freight train comes through your house. Your house is going to shake. Your walls are going to fill with water. Don't go outside. Pieces of metal can chop your head off. Stay safe, and please let me know that you're okay. It was pretty intense for somebody who had never been through anything like that. Especially something like Hurricane Katrina. But I hunkered down with my young daughter at the time, her godmother's dog, and the person I was dating at that time. We rode out the storm in the house. And aside from the roof blowing off during the storm, which caused a lot of water to come into our second floor, we did our best to capture it with buckets and dump it in the bathtub. Got to be a little overwhelming. Months later, when I came back to clean out the house, I discovered that that damage caused the second floor to cave in to the first floor. Despite not living in an area that flooded, I lived in an area we call the Silver Sliver. It's the sliver by the river is another name for it. It's a whopping 5 feet above sea level, but has very little flooding issues due to things like hurricanes. So we didn't have to deal with the flooding or the water coming up. We had to deal with the water coming down. But on Monday morning, when the storm is over, we go out and it's a mess. The city's a mess. There are trees down, roofs off, right? It's really crazy, but there's also a lot of people who rode the storm out. And we're on St. Charles Avenue looking for more damage, hugging each other, strangers hugging strangers, good to see you, glad you're alive, when we start to hear the whispers that not everybody in the city was as lucky. It would take another few hours before we would discover that the levees had busted, and with that, an immense amount of flooding, unexpected flooding, that caught people off guard and killed well over 1,000 people. Now remember, at the very last minute, Hurricane Katrina changed track just enough east, just a tiny bit enough east, that New Orleans didn't take a direct hit. And instead that happened at Pasch Christian, Mississippi. Both Mississippi and New Orleans still bear the marks of the hurricane. There are many places that have not been rebuilt. There are many homes that have never been repaired. There's a large swath of our population that is missing, not because they died, but because they left. You see, for the people who were stuck in the city, we only had a few options on how to get out. Anyone in the Superdome or at the convention center was transported by bus, by air, to various places. And many of our culture bearers left the city, ended up in other cities that treated them better, paid them better, and made life a lot easier, and they decided to never come back. Without our culture bearers, it opened the door for outsiders to come in and try to tell us what New Orleans was about. We still deal with that from time to time. 20 years after the hurricane, we still say before Katrina, after Katrina. Even though Ida came along, we don't say before and after Ida. We say before and after Hurricane Katrina. It's a mark that will probably not disappear anytime soon. The city has a long way to go before we can say she's the city of 2004 or early 2005. I miss that New Orleans. I miss the diversity. I miss the music. And I miss a lot of my favorite restaurants that never came back. Some good things have happened too. We got a fixed levee system that was definitely tested during Hurricane Ida and managed to hold up beautifully. How long that will last, only Mother Nature can tell us. But for those of us that stayed and saw the city on its before and after Katrina, we remember the past. And so today's video is to honor the culture bearers of our city and to honor those who left and found a better life, and to honor those who lost their lives with no warning, no rhyme, no reason, other than the worst man-made disaster in modern history. That's all I have for you today, folks. We hope that we'll see you next time on This Week in Hell.